The cinematography of the 1979 miniseries adaptation of Salem's Lot plays a crucial role in establishing its eerie atmosphere and enhancing the horror elements of the story. Directed by Tobe Hooper, the cinematography by Jules Brenner is instrumental in translating the unsettling mood of Stephen King's novel to the screen. Here's an in-depth look at the cinematographic techniques and choices that define the visual style of movie. The 2024 version needs to establish these factors that we are going to cover in this video to become a classic or even compete with the 1979 adaptation. Number 1 involves the use of lighting and shadows. Low-key lighting. The miniseries employs low-key lighting throughout, which is a hallmark of horror cinematography. This technique involves the use of stark contrasts between light and dark, creating deep shadows that contribute to the ominous and foreboding atmosphere of the film. The darkness often obscures parts of the frame, suggesting unseen threats lurking just beyond view, which heightens the tension. The use of shadows. Shadows are used extensively to symbolize the encroaching evil in Jerusalem's lot, whether it's the long shadows cast by the Marston house or the creeping darkness that follows the vampires. Shadows are a constant visual reminder of the ever-present danger. The interplay of light and shadow also adds a layer of mystery, making the town feel like a place where reality and nightmare blur. The use of selective lighting. Brenner uses selective lighting to draw attention to specific elements within a scene. For instance, characters are often illuminated in a way that emphasizes their emotional state or highlights the presence of something sinister. The strategic use of light focuses the viewer's attention and creates a sense of unease, particularly in scenes where characters are unaware of the danger that surrounds them. Number 2 consists of camera movement and framing. The movie has slow creeping camera movements. One of the defining features of Salem's Lot cinematography is the use of slow, deliberate camera movements. The camera often glides through scenes, creating a sense of unease and anticipation. This technique allows the horror to unfold gradually, letting the audience's imagination fill in the gaps, which is often more terrifying than what is explicitly shown. Wide shots and establishing shots. Wide shots are frequently used to establish the isolation of Jerusalem's lot and the looming presence of the Marston house. These shots convey the vast emptiness of the town and the vulnerability of its inhabitants. The Marston house, in particular, is often framed in a way that makes it appear almost alive, a malevolent entity watching over the town. Close-ups and intimate framing. Close-ups are used effectively to convey the psychological terror experienced by the characters. The camera lingers on their faces, capturing subtle expressions of fear, confusion, and dread. This intimate framing pulls the audience into the characters' emotional turmoil, making the horror more personal and impactful. For number 3, we will delve into color palette and visual tone. Muted color palette. The color palette of Salem's Lot is intentionally muted, dominated by earthy tones, grays, and cold blues. This desaturated look reinforces the bleakness of the town and its descent into darkness. The lack of vibrant colors drains the life from the visuals, mirroring the town's transformation as the vampire influence spreads. Use of blue tints and cool tones. Cool tones, particularly blue, are prevalent in night scenes and moments of supernatural activity. This choice enhances the chilling atmosphere and creates a stark contrast with the occasional warmer tones, which are mostly associated with the few remaining moments of normalcy in the town. The blue tint becomes synonymous with the presence of the vampires, signaling danger and otherworldliness. For number 4, we will discuss the iconic visual moments. The floating vampire. One of the most iconic scenes in the miniseries is the image of the vampire boy, Ralphie Glick, floating outside Mark Petrie's window. This scene is a masterclass in visual horror, with the eerie fog, the slow, deliberate movements of the boy, and the stark lighting all combining to create an unforgettable moment. The camera's focus on the boy's face and his clawing at the window heightens the surreal terror of the scene. The Marston House. The Marston House itself is a character in the film, with its presence dominating the town both visually and symbolically. Brenner's cinematography often frames the house in such a way that it appears to loom over the town, casting a shadow over the events that unfold. The house is frequently shot from low angles, making it appear even more imposing and malevolent. For number 5, we will talk about the use of visual symbolism. The encroaching darkness. The gradual encroachment of darkness in the film symbolizes the spread of evil. As the vampires gain control over the town, the cinematography reflects this through increasingly shadowed and dimly lit scenes. The darkness becomes a visual metaphor for the loss of hope and the grip of fear tightening around the characters. Isolation through composition. Characters are often isolated within the frame, reinforcing the theme of loneliness and vulnerability. Whether it's Ben Mears standing alone in front of the Marston house or Mark Petrie in his room, the composition emphasizes their separation from the safety of the community and the encroaching danger. In conclusion, the cinematography of Salem's Lot 1979 is a vital component of its lasting impact as a horror classic. Jules Brenner's work, under the direction of Tobe Hooper, masterfully blends light, shadow, camera movement, and color to create a haunting and immersive atmosphere. The visual style supports the narrative's themes of isolation, corruption, and the pervasive nature of evil, making Salem's Lot not just a tale of horror, but a visually rich and psychologically complex experience. The iconic imagery and carefully crafted scenes continue to influence horror cinematography, solidifying the miniseries' place in the pantheon of classic horror films.